Right now, I'm standing in what is going to be a 4 seasons art studio for my wife. It's going to be great, but it's not going great right now. And what I didn't expect, what nobody really warns you about when you start a project like this, is that it's not just a construction challenge. It's a mental fitness test. Here's the idea. You've got a screened-in porch, solid bones, good light, completely underutilized for most of the year. And the plan is to convert it into a fully conditioned 4 seasons room, a dedicated art studio that works in every season, not just summer. When I started, the vision was clear. I could see exactly what it was going to be. I was fired up. Then I started, and the gap between the vision and the current reality got very, very obvious very fast. Right now, we are deep in the middle phase, as you can see. The screened walls are coming out. The framing is going up. I've got some windows up. Every day there are decisions, insulation, windows, electrical, flooring, and most of them feel permanent. Most of them I've never made before, and that accumulates. Here's what's actually happening in the brain when you're in a sustained stretch like this one. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for clear thinking, good decisions, and long-term planning, starts going offline under chronic stress. Researchers call the cumulative cost of all that allostatic load. The longer it runs without real recovery, the heavier every decision gets. And I'm starting to feel that right now, standing in this room. Simple things start feeling heavy. The original excitement is still somewhere under the surface, but it's buried under a low hum of stress that doesn't quit. And the instinct is to just push harder, which I do. But that instinct is wrong. There is a specific kind of fatigue that hits in the middle of a project like this. You're too far in to stop, but the finish line feels imaginary. The budget is doing what budgets do, and unexpected problems keep showing up. The energy I started with, the early momentum, is gone. This week, I stood in the middle of this space and felt a wave of doubt come in. Is this actually going to turn out the way I pictured it? Am I making the right calls here? What if I get this wrong? This is decision fatigue, and it is one of the most underrated mental fitness challenges in any long project, because nobody's watching you fight it. The camera goes off, and it's just you and the mess. I've said out loud this week, I'm done with this today. But stopping isn't the option. So what actually moves the needle? Before I get into that, if you've been in a season like this, a project, a goal, something that just took over your life and started messing with your head, drop it in the comments. The moment it got hard, what you did, these stories matter. And I think you'll see why in a second. Here's what I've had to learn in the middle of this build. Grinding harder when you're mentally depleted doesn't work. Your brain has a stress response, and it doesn't care how determined you are. Pushing through depletion without recovery doesn't build output. It builds breakdown. I feel like I should say that again. Pushing through depletion without recovery and rest doesn't build output. It builds breakdown. So the thing that actually shifted my headspace wasn't more effort. It was a different question. I stopped asking, what is this project doing to me? And started asking, what is this project doing for me? At first, that sounded like a bumper sticker, but stay with it. This project is forcing me to make hard calls with incomplete information. It's developing patience I didn't know I was capable of. It's showing me a reserve of inner strength that I hadn't accessed before. That question didn't change what the room looks like right now, kind of a mess, but it changed who I am while I'm in it. There's real science behind this. Kelly McGonigal's research on stress shows that when stress is paired with meaning, when you understand why it matters, the neurological threat response actually softens. You move from drift of trying to figure out why I'm feeling this way back toward drive. I can do this. The prefrontal cortex re-engages. You start thinking clearly again. Your why isn't just motivation, it's neurological. The mess is still the mess, as you can see, but now it's a mental fitness gym. And every hard day in, it is a rep. So here's what I'm doing right now to build the endurance to finish this well. Rep 1. I rebuilt the timeline honestly. The original schedule was a fantasy. It always is. I've accepted that. I rebuilt the plan with real buffer time for delays, surprises, and the days when everything takes twice as long. Planning for imperfection isn't giving up. It's a core mental fitness practice. The project doesn't fail when things take longer. You fail when you don't plan for it. Rep 2, scheduled recovery. That's non-negotiable. This one I had to fight myself on. Taking a break felt like I was falling behind. But peak performance research is clear. You cannot sustain output without restoration. So I'm protecting time away from the project. Evenings where I'm not making decisions, not walking through the space, not mentally living in the construction zone. Recovery is not a reward for finishing. It's part of the training. Here's an example. Last night, I was working on this, and outside these windows, my wife started a fire. I stopped what I was doing, and I sat down with my wife and kids and had a moment of quiet. Rep 3, small routines inside the chaos. When your environment is upside down, small rituals rebuild your mental fitness baseline. For me, it's a quiet coffee before anything else starts. 5 minutes before the tools come out. Just stillness. Neuroscience backs this up. Small, consistent practices engage the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your brain that counteracts the stress response. These aren't soft habits. They're how you regulate under sustained pressure. Rep 4, gratitude, even when it feels forced. Every day I find 3 things about this project that I'm grateful for. Today's, I'm grateful I have the skills to attempt this. I'm grateful for the progress I made this week, even when it doesn't feel like enough. I'm grateful I learned something today I didn't know yesterday. Gratitude isn't toxic positivity. It retrains your focus from what's broken to what's being built. Over time, that shift becomes automatic. Hard things stay hard, but they stop being the only thing you see. There's a version of this project that's just a renovation. Screened porch in, 4 seasons room out. Done. But that's not actually what's happening. The research on psychological capital, what scientists call PsyCap, shows that hope, resilience, efficacy, and optimism built through challenges don't stay in the challenge. They transfer. You don't just survive the hard project, you come out of it with greater capacity for the next one. The person who is rattled by the first round of problems is navigating new ones with more steadiness, more calm. That's not confidence from nothing. That's strength being built inside the grind. The chaos is the training ground. Grit is forged in the middle, not at the finish line. I don't have a before and after to show you yet. The room isn't done. It's nowhere near it. I'm in the middle of it. Right now, it's framing and decisions and dust and the kind of daily grind that tells you what you're actually made of. But here's what I know. Every hard call, every problem I push through, every day I choose drive to get this done over drift, that's a rep. And those reps are building something that will be standing long after the studio walls are up. So if you're in the middle of your own version of this right now, a project, a goal, a season that's taking longer and costing more than you planned, hear this. You're not behind. You're being built. Keep going. Train within. If this connected, hit the like button. It genuinely helps more people find it. Subscribe to Follow Forte and learn more about mental fitness. And drop your story in the comments. There are people in there fighting the same battle. You're not alone in it.